New details are being shared about President Jimmy Carter's funeral services, which are set to start this Saturday in Georgia. We'll speak to his pastor in just a moment. First, to Jonathan Serrie in Plains, Georgia, with all the details.
Hi, Edward. Preparations are underway in the former president's hometown. You know, in many ways, Plains, Georgia is your typical farming community, friendly, hardworking, and very small. But for nearly half a century since Jimmy Carter's election in 1976, this tiny town has welcomed the world, a dual role that reflects the former president himself.
I think the duality of the man, being a simple peanut farmer type from Plains, Georgia, but also a brilliant nuclear physicist by trade, I think that duality will keep people intrigued with the character and the person for decades and decades and decades.
Plains features prominently in Mr. Carter's funeral plans, beginning with a hometown procession on Saturday, January 4, before his body is brought to Atlanta to lie in repose at the Carter Presidential Center for 3 days. After lying in state in Washington and a ceremony at the Washington National Cathedral, Mr. Carter's body will return to Plains on January 9 for a private burial outside his longtime home. Even though the former president is no longer with us, former staffers remain optimistic his legacy of humanitarian work will continue.
There are a lot of people who have been part of his efforts that are much younger. We've had over 4,000 interns go through the Carter Center, for instance, and every one of those comes away with a real sense of purpose and desire to do for others.
And here in Plains, residents continue to refer to the former president as Mr. Jimmy, reflecting the close ties Jimmy Carter maintained with this community for all 100 years of his life. Edward?
Jonathan Serrie live in Plains, thank you for that.